And we're back, folks, here on WrestleRant. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and right here in WrestleRant, I break down all the pay-per-views that I watch on the WWE Network. And of course, for the next few weeks, we're talking about the King of the Ring event, all as seen on the network, as I said. So today we're talking about King of the Ring 1995. And regardless of what you thought about the 93, 94 installments, neither were amazing shows. They had their fair share of some pretty deplorable matches, but they did have some monumental moments, a lot of great moments, some pretty good, great matches. This show had none of that. This was not a good show whatsoever. And anyone who was listening to my reviews and any pay-per-views from 1995, whether it be Survivor Series, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, or whatever, knows I just hate this year in wrestling. And it's weird, too, because I was born that year. But this was just the absolute worst year, in my opinion, for WWE. Worse than 09 or 2010, which I know I gave a lot of crap to, too, as pretty forgettable years. 95 sucked. Some of the worst characters, some of the worst matches I have ever seen in my life. This was not a good show whatsoever. So we'll kick it off with the King of the Ring qualifying match, which was not technically on the pay-per-view. It was a pre-show match for Coliseum Home Video. But I'll talk about it because it's included on the network version of the show, which includes all the Coliseum Home Video, backstage exclusives and whatever. So it was Savio Vega beating IRS. Pretty, quick match. No one really cared. Savio Vega got in the tournament. Really nothing to talk about. I thought I would include that, though, because it's on the show. So we open the actual show, Savio Vega taking on Yokozuna, and a King of the Ring quarterfinal matchup. It was all right for what it was. Again, Yokozuna going from WWE title glory to losing to Savio Vega, of all people, in the opener of the tournament. Yes, that's what it came down to. So Savio Vega won with Razor Ramon in his corner, and that was about it. So not a good match. You beat him by countout, not by pinfall, but still, it's pretty embarrassing. So after that, we had the Roadie versus Bob Holly in the quarterfinals of the tournament, and the clash of the bad gimmicks, but the clash of the good wrestlers. The Roadie did well here. Bob Holly was a really good worker, so they had a pretty good match, despite their awful Damien Mizdow-esque and just race car gimmicks, I guess, that they had at that time, whatever the hell you want to call them, and Jeff Jarrett was the Intercontinental Champion. So the match was actually pretty good, a lot better than most of the matches on this show, but the Roadie advanced. After that, Shawn Michaels taking on Kama in the quarterfinals of the tournament. Neither advanced. So despite the fact that Shawn Michaels won the Royal Rumble match in 1995 and contended for the gold of WrestleMania and lost, and was still one of, if not the most over guy on the roster at that period in time, he still didn't even make it past the quarterfinals. They had the match go to a 15-minute time limit draw, which I wish they would bring back, by the way. It wasn't always great when they did it, but it also kind of set up the stage for Mabel advancing to the finals just without having to go through the semifinals because of the result of that match. But still, I was shocked. I was shocked. The tournament came down to Shawn Michaels, or rather, I'll get to the finals of the tournament in a couple minutes. But I was shocked that Michaels didn't even make it to the finals, let alone the quarterfinal, or rather, let alone the semifinals. So that was pretty embarrassing. But the match itself wasn't really that good. He tried. Kama just was not a good worker. I mean, Kama, better known as Papa Shango, the Godfather, the Good Father, Charles Wright, whatever you want to call him. Had multiple gimmicks in WWE. He would come out later on. In the next match, in the next quarterfinal match between Mabel and The Undertaker, match sucked. Big Daddy V versus Taker, as you could expect, was not a good match at all. Kama came down to distract Taker, and Mabel beat him for the shocking upset victory and advanced to the finals because, like I said, he got a bye with Michaels and Kama going to a time limit draw. The match was not good, and that obviously built to Kama and Undertaker at WrestleMania, which was also a very deplorable match, as you would probably expect. And up next, in the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament, Savio Vega beating the Roadie. All right match. A good wrestling match, but whatever. I don't know why the Roadie wasn't anything special, and Savio Vega was essentially a jobber. So why both of them got to this point, I have no idea. Bret Hart taking on Jerry Lawler in a Kiss My Foot match. The match sucked. The stipulation was what it was, a lot like the Over the Limit 2011 match between Bret Hart, or rather Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler. This was basically no different. And it went on for 10 minutes, which was the worst part. Just keep it short and sweet. Although the feet were sour, had to make the joke, although, albeit not a good one, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so they had to drag the match on for 10 minutes. Bret Hart won and just added insult to injury afterwards by just continuing to sticking his foot into the face of Jerry Lawler, which was absolutely gross. The match wasn't good either. So the feud started at King of the Ring 1993 when Bret Hart became the King of the Ring that year, and it not even ended. I mean, it continued on for the next 2 years, but Jerry Lawler would, call upon the forces of Dr. Isaac Yankem. He would recruit him to be a surrogate at SummerSlam to take on Bret Hart, so that the feud was not over just yet. Mabel defeating Savio Vega in the King of the Ring finals. Again, not a good match at all. The match sucked. And Mabel is the 1995 King of the Ring. Yes, the same guy from Men on a Mission the year prior. The guy was not a good worker at all. Apparently, they had high hopes for him. He had one of the worst WWE title matches of that era with Diesel at SummerSlam. Just a failed experiment if I'd ever seen one. Like I said, the match was awful. And then we get to the main event. A tag team match, not even a WWE title match. It was Diesel and Bam Bam Bigelow taking on Tatanka and Psycho Sid of the $1 Million Corporation. Pretty standard tag team affair. Nothing really good about it. It went way too long, almost 18 minutes. Just got way too much time for a match where there was nothing really on the line at all. Bam Bam Bigelow was over as a babyface. Diesel was somewhat over, and that was that. The match wasn't really that good at all. I mean, Psycho Sid was far from a title challenger at this point, and Tatanka was still, he was not anything above a certain level. So the match was what it was, and not a suitable main event whatsoever. So really, overall, awful show. This show sucked. Probably the worst King of the Ring installment that there ever will be, and definitely up to this point, obviously. 93 and 94 had their moments and some fair share of good matches. This show, I mean, the best you can come to a good match was Rhodey and Bob Holly, and even that wasn't too great. The overall show sucked, just, drowned in King of the Ring stuff, which wasn't... It would have been fine if it was filled with better competitors and better matches, but it was just filled with bad gimmicks and just... It was not good. Just not a good year for WWE, and this was the stamp. I mean, I don't know if it was worse than SummerSlam or WrestleMania. I think it was, because overall, this was just not good at all. Really not even a saving grace. So I cannot recommend the show on the network. If you want to punish yourself, then I'm sure go ahead and watch it on the network. But otherwise, I would not recommend you watch this on the network. King of the Ring 1985, as always, guys. Thank you for watching and listening to my review. I appreciate the support. If you want to find me on the Twitter machine, just follow me at WrestleRant. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/gram.gsmatthews, and right here on YouTube by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. So the 1996 show, which I've already watched and can't wait to review for my next video, is actually a lot better than this installment. Significantly better. A stacked card, so it's like night and day. And I can't wait to review that show coming up in my next video. So until then, guys, have a great one. I'm Graham Matthews, and I'll catch you folks down the road.